This solo episode is an homage to my mom, Marilyn, who passed 1 week ago. I want to share with you a little bit about her big Mick energy, her message to the world, and the wisdom that she wanted to leave for all of us. So let's dive in and learn a little bit more about the messages that my mom wants you to know. Welcome back to On the Cusp. I'm your host, Dr. Brett Gilbert, and this episode is definitely in memoriam. It's in honor of my mom, Marilyn. Unfortunately, it's hard to even say it, but she passed away 1 week ago today after a very, very long battle, and a battle that was beyond awe-inspiring, the way that she was able to push through so much pain. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the wisdom and some of the lessons that my mom left for us. And the intention for her would be for me to share that. You know, she was a loving person. She really had a life where she impacted people and people loved her. And she had a really big personality. So I want to share just a little bit about my mom, Marilyn. So growing up, she had a group of friends, and the friends had nicknamed her Mickey. So she was always kind of known as a child as Mickey, especially in her friend circles. And somewhere along the line, the Mickey evolved into the Big Mick. So we would refer to my mom, you know, when there was something funny, or, you know, she said something that was really, a unique way of saying it, which she was a very unique person. We would say the Big Mick, there's the Big Mick. And so thinking back now, you know, what the Big Mick represented is sort of this Big Mick energy, right? Big Mick energy was like, you know, my mom could, you know, just all of a sudden just kind of break into a dance move, you know, just feeling the groove, or, you know, really savoring a bite of food or a moment. And the Big Mick energy was infectious because, you know, here was this little lady and all of a sudden she's the Big Mick. And so I want to share this because I do believe, as my mom really unfortunately suffered and really had to endure just unspeakable amount of pain for a very long time, that it was that Big Mick energy that I feel was sustaining her and helping her to fight through the pain and to continue forward. And so I want to share that with you because I think we all have that Big Mick energy inside of us. We might not express it as much, but it's that moment when you're kind of really feeling yourself and you allow it. Or you really have a moment where you're like, wow, like this is really beautiful, or this makes me happy, or I feel joy. And to sort of really, really embody that, and not just internally, but externally, so that you give permission to others to do the same. So Big Mick energy was something that I spoke about in her eulogy. And I wanted to share that with you too, because I think we all have it. And if we use it to our advantage, it's really something that can lift us up. And ultimately, as I saw my mom fight and battle through so much discomfort and pain and misery, quite honestly, physically, I believe it was that Big Mick energy that really sustained her. So I wanted to share that with you. You know, my mom was in the hospital for 5 weeks after a terrible fall, and every day was life or death. I mean, I spoke about this in a prior episode where, you know, my mom was really battling back and forth. And one of the advantages of that is the ability to talk, to ask questions, to discuss. And ultimately, we were able to ask my mom really pretty much anything that we wanted. And we said, hey, mom, what's your message? You know, like what would you want to tell the world to know based on your life experience? And she was so clear about this. She was so passionate about this. And it was, don't ever give up and don't look back. And so we can all take a lot from that, right? It's just that idea that sometimes things feel really hard. Sometimes it feels like life is an uphill battle or climbing a mountain, but don't give up. Don't ever give up. Keep going and don't look back, because everything is in front of you. And so whether that means that maybe you've had an opportunity where your life has been pretty amazing and you haven't really had any hardships, well, it's still okay not to look back, because going forward, you can create more of that. Or maybe you have had some hardships in your life, maybe some trauma. Maybe there's a lot of things that you regret about your life. Well, again, my mom says, don't look back and don't ever give up. Keep striving for what you want. And so I wanted to share these messages from my mom because they were really, really powerful. And ultimately, you know, she fought. She was just a fighter. And she taught us that pain is temporary, And she also taught us that our bodies are capable of so much more than we think. To see her body battle through what it battled through and to see that she was able to continue to go. And I want to share that she fought to her very last breath. I mean, she fought to continue to breathe even when it was completely clear that her breaths were numbered. I also want to share just very personally that there's not always a peaceful way to go. We don't know how we're going to go. That last moment comes, and I can promise you this from the experience that we had, that when your last moment comes, you only want for one more thing, and that's one more moment. So this life is very, very precious. And I hope that my mom can teach us all that we need to embrace every single moment. They all count. Whether you're sad, whether you're upset or you're angry, maybe you've had some disappointments, maybe you've had some losses, maybe you've had some wins, maybe things are amazing. Every single moment counts, and to remember to make them count. And so ultimately, when my mom was starting to really show that she was going to pass, at the very, very end, my dad, my sister, and I, we all enveloped her in love. We held her hands. We rubbed her head. We held her in our love up until the very last breath, until she passed away. And not everyone gets that. And so although my mom suffered a lot, she had a very beautiful, peaceful, and loving final moment. And I just wanted to share that because it brings me a lot of comfort to know that we were able to send her off like that. So just a short episode. Mom, I love you. This is in honor of you. This is to let everyone know that the big Mick energy is inside us all, that we should never give up. We should never look back, and we should embrace every single moment. Sending you so much love. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for all of your support. I wish you a beautiful day where you can really thrive and enjoy just simply being alive. I'll see you in the next episode.